Hello everyone, welcome back to PC++ video series. Myself Neha Patel. I am a lecturer in Computer Engineering Department at VPMP Polytechnic, Gandhinagar. Our today's session is about Unit 5 Pointers, Virtual Functions and Polymorphism in C++. And the topic is to see about the pointers in derived classes and virtual functions. So today's objective is pointers to objects, this pointer to derived classes and virtual functions in C++. Now let's see what is pointers to objects. Yes students, we already know that pointer is a variable which stores the address of another variable, right? So we can also call the class members using the pointer. Yes, in C++ we can call the class members using the pointer. That means we can create the pointer to the object and through that pointer we can call the class members in a class. For that we have to create a pointer of the class data type, and then object pointer are useful in creating objects at runtime. We can use the object pointer to access the public members of an object. That means as we are accessing the public data members of class using object, in same way we have to access the public members of a class using the pointer to the object. For example, let's see here the person is a class name and it is having two public member functions, that is get data and put data. Now let's see, if I create a simple object of class person P1 and a pointer object of person class, then I can initialize a pointer P object of person class to store the address of the object P1 of the class person. That means pointer object as well as normal object both should be of same class, right? So this is the way how we assign a address of some variable. Here it is an object to the pointer variable. Now let's see how to access the public member functions get data and put data using the pointer object. So here you can see in the next line P dash arrow, this is the symbol to access the data member or member functions in public section through the pointer of that class. So P dash arrow get data, and the another simple way that we used till now without creating pointer, P1 dot get data, right? That is P1 is the object dot get data is a member function. So this is the normal way how we already we used this method in our programs, but this is the another way in which we are using object pointer to access the member function of the class. So this is how we can access the member function of a class using a pointer object. Now we can also use this method also star P, pointer name star, and hold these things into the bracket dot get data. This method is also allowed. If we do not want to use this dash arrow method, then we can use this method also to access the members of the public section of a class using a pointer object, right? So this is all about the pointer to the object. Now let's see the another objective, that is this pointer. This pointer is a special type of pointer that is available in C++, which is pointing automatically to the current object. That means this pointer is automatically passed to a function when it is called. So let's see what are the applications. This pointer is used to represent an object that invokes a member function. For example, getData is my member function and object P1 is accessing currently. Then by using this pointer, this dot getData, I can know about the which object is currently using the particular member function. Then second application is access data member with this pointer like this. Then access method dash arrow data member name x is equal to 50. So this is the way how we can initialize the value to our data member using this pointer. So this particular x is equal to 50 value will be assigned to the data member x of particular object which is currently accessing a member function. Okay, then the third application, third use of this pointer is it is used to return the object it points to, like return star this. We can use return star this. So by this we can return the object's address, right? Currently whatever object is using that particular member function, that function can use return star this. So it will return the address of this pointer, address of current object. Okay, so this is all about this pointer. Let's see example. In this particular example, we will find the address of the object of which it is a member of a class. For example, here class test is there and it is having one private data member integer x and one public member function that is void show. Now this particular function is simply representing the object's address. Currently whichever object will call this function void show, its address in a memory will be displayed by this pointer. So let's see test b1 b2. Here b1 and b2 both are my object name of class test, and now we are trying to call the member function show using b1 dot show as well as b2 dot show. So both of these will display the different memory locations because both the objects pointing to some different memory locations in a memory. So this pointer will display the address of particular object. Okay, so this is the simplest example of this pointer. Now let's see pointer to derived classes. Yes friends, as we discussed in our previous slides that we can have pointer as an object pointer of a class. Same way we can have pointer to derived classes also. So using the pointer of the base class, we can access only those members which are inherited from the base class and not of the members of derived classes. That means if the pointer of class base class is declared and if we are using that particular pointer to access the members of the derived class, then it is not possible. We can access only those members which were derived from the base class. Only those members can be accessed using the pointer of a base class. But now to access the members of a derived class, we have to use the pointer to the derived class type, right? So that we can access all the members from the derived class. Now let's see a simple example. Here base class name is base and it is having one member function which is displaying value simple I am base class, and another class that is derived class that is publicly derived from the base class and its member function will display I am derived class. Now in main section we are having the object of derived class that is D and pointer of the derived class that is star D ptr. Now this particular pointer star D ptr points to object D of class derived. That simply means that the object of derived class is being pointed by the object pointer of the same class. So whenever we display dptr, whenever we use pointer dptr to call to access the member function, that is show, it will access its own class member function, that is void show, that is inside the derived class own member function, not the void show version of the that is derived from the base class. So the output of this program will be I am derived class, right? Now let's see another example. So okay, so this is all about pointers in derived classes. Now let's move forward to our next objective, that is virtual functions. So as we already know about the polymorphism in C++, we discussed polymorphism in unit 1. So what is polymorphism? It is an ability to take more than one form, right? Polymorphism means it is an ability or it is a feature that allows to take more than one form. For example, we already discussed about the function overloading in our previous videos. Okay, there are two main categories of polymorphism available in C++. First one is a compile time polymorphism and second one is a runtime polymorphism. Yes, compile time polymorphism that we already discussed in our previous videos, that is operator overloading and function overloading. So in function overloading, we already discussed that a same function name was used to perform different tasks in a same program. So it is known as a compile time polymorphism, right? Now the second point, that is runtime polymorphism, includes virtual functions, the use of virtual functions. Or we can say, if we want to implement runtime polymorphism in our program, then we should use virtual functions, right? So now let's see what is virtual function. Okay, compile time polymorphism actually is known also as early binding or static binding, right? Because it is done at the time of compilation. And runtime polymorphism is known as a late binding or dynamic binding also. Why? Because it is done at the runtime. So it is known as a runtime polymorphism or late binding or dynamic binding. Now let's see what exactly a virtual function is. A virtual function is a special type of function in C++. When we use the same function name in both the base as well as derived classes, the function in base class is declared as virtual using the keyword virtual preceding its normal declaration. So virtual function is a function of a base class which is having the same name in derived class also. So we are making a version of base class function as virtual, right? So what are the basic requirements to declare any function virtual? Let's see. It must be a member of some class. That means virtual function must be a member of some class. Then it cannot be a static member. Yes, virtual function cannot be a static member function. Then it can only accessed by pointers. Yes, as it is a runtime polymorphism, it is used to implement runtime polymorphism. Virtual functions can only be accessed by the pointers. Then next thing, it can be a friend of another class. Yes, it is allowed that we can make a virtual function as a friend of another class, so that we should use virtual friend or friend virtual, both keywords before the normal declaration of a function. Then it must be defined in a base class. That means if I want to make any function virtual function, then it should be defined in a base class. Okay, it must be defined in a base class. Then there is no virtual constructors, but we can have virtual destructors. Yes, virtual constructors are not possible to implement, but we can have virtual destructors, right? So let's see the program how virtual functions work. Okay friends, let's see how virtual function works. Now this is my program in which I have one base class and it is having its member function void show, right? Now void show is equal to 0 and it is having keyword virtual. Now void show is equal to 0 represents that it is a pure virtual function. As we discussed in previous chapters videos, that pure virtual function is a function having definition like this: void show is equal to 0 and it is having keyword virtual. So okay, so this is a program in which one class is there, that is base class, and it is having one void show function which is having virtual keyword. So it is my virtual function and it is simply displaying I am base class. Now in derived class, which is derived from base, derived one class is having same function name, that is void show, and it will display I am derived one class, right? So we can see here that void show is used twice in a program, right? Base class and derived one class both are having same function name, and again also in derived 2 class also we are having same function name. So what this function will do whenever we call this void show function from the pointer of the base class, right? So let's see here in main section we have declared a pointer of a base class, that is star b ptr, and its data type is base. So we can say that it is a pointer of a base class. Now we have one variable ch which will store the choice whether we want to call function from the derived class 1 or derived class 2, right? So here it is displayed here to choose any one from that. Okay, if we enter 1, then it will call, it will the base class pointer bptr will point to the object of derive 1 class which is being declared using new keyword. Okay, here we are declaring the object of derive 1 class using keyword new. So it will automatically point to the object of derive 1 class, and if we enter choice 2, then bptr, that is base class pointer, will point to the derive 2 class object, that is also again created with using new keyword. Okay, now at the last we are calling the show function, right? That is void show function, that is exists in both the derived classes, right? So now let's see. So now let's see the output. See, call function of derive 1 class, or enter 2 to call function of derive 2 class. So let's enter 2 value. Then see, it has display I am derived 2 class. So by simply executing this program, we can understand that a base class pointer can be used to access the derived class function if the same function name is declared in a base class with virtual keyword, right? So this is all about the virtual functions in C++. So friends, I hope you enjoy learning pointers and virtual functions in C++. Keep learning programming in C++. Thank you.